Blessings of a happy, healthy new year, everyone. I'm Sister Georgie Orihana. This pandemic has brought an indescribable change in people's lives. It is very challenging to observe quarantine, but the good news is, even it's quarantine, we can still find ways to have fun, to have hope. For me, fun is being with my family. Since my husband, Brother June, is a COVID survivor who still undergoes therapy sessions, we must stay at home and limit our dealing with other people. But this does not mean there can be no fun. For me, happiness is a choice, and I choose to be happy. I have learned to be more appreciative of little things which before I used to take for granted. I used to be a control freak. Everything has to be ironed out. Now, my life is much simpler. To have fun, it's to simply enjoy doing what makes me happy, like cooking, serving my family well, which in turn make them happy too. Being able to break free from the bandage of always being so busy at work, for me, that's really cool. Thus, F-U-N, fun. Oh, our family walked through the blazing fire last year, 2020. First quarter, my mother-in-law died when COVID-19 hit the country and face-to-face classes were suspended. Our Montessori school suffered, losing 70% of our students' population. We had to give up our second branch last June, which we had a huge investment just a couple of years ago. Then, in the same month, my 89-year-old papa was hospitalized, which lasted for almost 2 months. Since Brother June and I were the ones taking care of my father's needs, we were both exposed. Brother June got critically ill of COVID infection. In fact, the day my papa died was also the day when June had to be intubated. We hit rock bottom. I cannot give my final respect for papa. I cannot also be with June at that time since my two sons and I, we were all strictly quarantined. Now the question is, how did I overcome? It was not by my own might, for it was God who held me and my family in the palm of His hands. By His grace, by His love, by His goodness, with His power and might, with His compassionate heart. There are two things which I would like to share with you that I did: surrender and trust. And this is the victory of God. Brother June's healing and restoration.
Hi, dear brothers and sisters. Yes, with God's grace, I am strong in the love of the Lord. I am blessed, healed, and God-favored. Thanks be to God. When we were at our rock bottom, God sent people. We call them earth angels. They are our loved ones, friends, brothers and sisters in LOJ, medical frontliners who showed us God's love in action, who allowed us to experience God being truly alive.
Still, with the pandemic, it is tough to move forward. But pandemic does not mean the flow of God's blessings must stop too.
With a simple kind gesture to a person in need, a simple prayer to someone who needs to be prayed over, a simple hot meal offered freely to a hungry neighbor, an encouraging word to a person losing hope, even one simple act can go a long way.
That's what we do. We take one simple action at a time just to let God's love constantly flowing. A lot of Bible verses still echo in my mind and in my heart. My soul was nourished with His words during the quarantine. When I was in the weight room, one Bible verse I held strongly in my heart. This is the verse from Isaiah chapter 40. And it says, "But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." It is the beginning of a new year. Our message to all:
Rise up,
for God's grace has never been lacking.
rise up,
For He knows what is best for each of us.
rise up,
For God gives us the power to get back up when things get tough. Why?
because God is a faithful and loving Father.
Quarantine can never stop God's plan for His people. In Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, let us all remember this. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Thank you, and blessed be God forever.
Amen.